In the early 20th century, the sky was not meant for women. It was dangerous, unforgiving, and dominated by men who believed courage had a gender. But one woman refused that idea: Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart was not born fearless. In fact, she was once terrified of flying. Her first airplane ride lasted less than 10 minutes. She stepped off the aircraft unimpressed. And yet, within a few years, the sky would become her obsession. Amelia didn't fly for attention. She flew for meaning. In 1932, she shocked the world by flying solo across the Atlantic Ocean, something no woman had ever done before. Newspapers called her a hero, a symbol, a revolution. But Amelia felt something unsettling. "I've crossed oceans," she once said, "but I haven't crossed my own limits yet." Fame didn't satisfy her. Records didn't calm her restlessness. She wanted something bigger, something no pilot had ever truly completed. A flight that would circle the entire globe, not following safe routes, but along the equator, the most dangerous line on Earth. This was not just aviation. This was defiance. And it would lead her straight into history's greatest mystery. The dream experts called impossible. By 1937, aviation was still fragile. Navigation relied on stars, weather forecasts were unreliable, communication could vanish without warning. And yet, Amelia announced her plan: "I will fly around the world." Experts were alarmed. The distance was extreme. The Pacific Ocean was unforgiving. One mistake meant vanishing without a trace. But Amelia had already chosen her partner, Fred Noonan. Fred Noonan was one of the best navigators alive: quiet, precise, experienced. Together, they would attempt the impossible. Their aircraft was specially modified: Lockheed Electra 10E, extra fuel tanks, heavier weight, narrow margin for error. This plane could fly farther than most, but it could also fail faster than any mistake allowed. As they moved eastward, America to Africa, Africa to Asia, everything went smoothly until they reached the most dangerous stretch, the Pacific Ocean. Their final critical destination was barely visible on a map: Howland Island, a strip of land just 2 miles long, surrounded by endless water. Finding it required absolute precision. Miss it, and there would be no second chance. On July 2, 1937, Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan took off. No one knew it then, but this flight would never be completed. By mid-1937, the excitement around Amelia Earhart's world flight was massive. But behind the headlines, something felt wrong. Amelia Earhart knew the risks. She had read the reports. She had heard the warnings. The biggest problem wasn't the plane, it was navigation. Her navigator, Fred Noonan, relied on celestial navigation, finding position by reading stars. But clouds could erase the sky, radio signals could fade, and the Pacific Ocean offered no landmarks. Noonan himself reportedly said, "If we miss Howland Island, there is nowhere else to go." The plane, a Lockheed Electra 10E, was overloaded with fuel. Heavier fuel meant shorter takeoff margin. Longer flight meant greater fatigue. Every variable was stretched to its limit. Some advisors urged Amelia to delay. Others told her plainly, "This is not survivable if something goes wrong." But Amelia was already committed. She believed momentum mattered, confidence mattered, and fear could not be allowed to slow her down. As the days passed, tension quietly grew among the crew and ground teams. There were arguments over radio frequencies, confusion about communication procedures, last-minute changes to equipment, small details, the kind that history later obsesses over. On the night before the final leg, Amelia reportedly looked exhausted but determined. She wrote letters, reviewed maps, checked calculations. She understood something most people didn't. This was no longer about records. This was about finishing. And failure, was not an option she allowed herself to imagine. July 2, 1937. Early morning. The sky over Leh was unstable. Clouds drifted in layers. The air felt heavy. Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan prepared for the longest and most dangerous leg of the journey. Destination: Howland Island, a tiny strip of land lost in the Pacific, barely visible even on detailed maps. At 10 a.m., the engines roared. The aircraft struggled down the runway, heavy with fuel, heavy with expectations. Witnesses later said the takeoff was unsettling. The plane lifted slowly, almost reluctantly. But it did lift, and then it disappeared into the sky. For the next several hours, everything seemed normal. Radio transmissions confirmed progress. Signals were weak but steady. Then, conditions worsened. Cloud cover increased. Navigation became uncertain. Fuel calculations tightened. As the Electra approached the estimated location of Howland Island, stress rose on both sides of the radio. On the ground, the U.S. Coast Guard cutter USGCG Itasca waited, listening, scanning the horizon. Then Amelia's voice came through, not panicked, but strained. "We must be on you, but cannot see you." Minutes passed. Another message. "Fuel is running low." The tension was unbearable. Ground crews sent signals. Smoke signals were released from the ship, but Amelia never confirmed visual contact. Her final transmissions were fragmented, incomplete. Then, nothing. No mayday, no crash sound, no coordinates. Just silence. The Electra had vanished, and with it, 2 human beings and one of history's greatest dreams. The disappearance of Amelia Earhart was not immediately treated as a death. In fact, for hours after her final transmission, many believed she was still alive. Why? Because voices began to appear. Strange radio messages, broken signals, unverified transmission.
This is Amelia Earhart.
Across the Pacific, from ships, radio amateurs, and private listeners, people reported hearing a woman's voice. Some messages were faint, others terrifyingly clear. "This is Amelia Earhart. We are on a reef. Water is rising." None of these signals were officially confirmed, but there was one problem. They matched Amelia's voice pattern, her speech style, her phrasing, and more disturbingly, some signals described tides, something only someone not underwater could observe. Experts later noted, if the aircraft had crashed directly into the ocean, radio transmission would have ended instantly. But these messages suggested something else: a landing, possibly on land or on a reef. One island suddenly became the center of attention: Niku, uninhabited, remote, and surrounded by shallow reefs. If Amelia had landed there, she might have survived for days, maybe weeks, but help never came, and the voices eventually stopped forever. Silence, panic, and the largest search ever. As Amelia failed to reappear, panic spread rapidly. The U.S. government moved fast. President Franklin Roosevelt authorized an unprecedented operation. What followed was the largest and most expensive search in aviation history at that time. Navy ships, military aircraft, thousands of miles scanned. The Pacific was combed relentlessly, but the ocean kept its secrets. Not a single confirmed piece of wreckage was found. No oil slick, no debris, no bodies. After weeks of searching, officials reached a conclusion. Amelia Earhart is presumed lost at sea. The world was devastated. Newspapers printed black borders. Radio stations went silent in tribute. But not everyone agreed. Some believed the search ended too early. Others believed it was deliberately redirected. Rumors began spreading. What if she didn't crash? What if she landed and was captured? What if the truth was inconvenient?
As time passed, the mystery only grew deeper. Clues emerged decades later: a shoe fragment, a partial skeleton, a woman's compact mirror, all found on remote islands, all dismissed or ignored. And with every unanswered question, one truth became unavoidable. This was no ordinary disappearance. This was a mystery powerful enough to survive generations. Theories that changed history. When the official search ended, the mystery did not. It multiplied. Over time, 3 major theories emerged, each backed by evidence and each raising disturbing questions. Theory 1: crash and sink. This is the official explanation. According to this theory, Amelia and Fred Noonan ran out of fuel while searching for Howland Island. The plane descended, hit the ocean, and sank instantly. No debris survived, no signals continued. Simple, clean. Too clean. Critics argue that even ocean crashes leave something behind: oil, debris, a trace. Here, there was nothing, and that absence created doubt. Theory 2: survival on a forgotten island. This theory changed everything. Researchers suggested Amelia didn't crash, she landed on the coral reefs of Niku. The idea gained traction decades later when artifacts were discovered: a shoe fragment, a glass jar matching 1930s cosmetics, aluminum fragments resembling aircraft panels. A non-profit research group, Tihara, investigated the island extensively. They proposed that Amelia survived the landing but slowly died from dehydration, injury, or exposure. If true, this would mean she was alive for days, possibly weeks, waiting for help that never came. Theory 3: capture and cover-up. The most controversial theory and the most disturbing. According to this idea, Amelia and Noonan drifted off course and landed in Japanese-controlled territory. Some claim they were captured and taken to Saipan. Witnesses decades later claimed they saw a white woman pilot. She was held by Japanese forces. She never returned. The theory suggests espionage, a secret mission, and a government cover-up. There is no solid proof, but there is no definitive disproof either, and that uncertainty keeps the theory alive. Is the mystery still alive? Nearly a century later, Amelia Earhart's disappearance remains open. Technology has advanced. Satellites scan oceans. DNA solves cold cases. Yet Amelia remains out of reach. Modern expeditions continue to search deep-sea wreckage. Researchers reanalyze bones using new forensic methods. Historians revisit classified documents, and still no final answer. What makes this mystery unique is not just the disappearance, it's the silence. A silence so complete that it refuses to end. Amelia Earhart once said, "The most difficult thing is the decision to act." She acted. She flew, she vanished, and in doing so, she became more than a pilot. She became a question the world has never been able to answer. Some mysteries are solved by evidence, others by time. But Amelia Earhart's story reminds us of one thing: the sky never gives back what it chooses to keep.